honestly, I'm gonna have to create a theme song. I'm gonna have to figure it out, dig into my musical talents, people with musical talents, and come up with a theme song. Although that background would be like, I'd be busting over here. Like, dun, dun, dun. Anyhow, I digress. This is Tells You I Need a Life. Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome. Happy New Year!
Season 7, New Year. Let's go. Let's get it. Happy New Year's to
It's
all.
crazy. It's 2025.
I know, right?
Like I feel like I just entered like 2020 to be honest. Like I'm still not over 2020 completely and we're in 2025. So much has happened. How has your new year been? How did you spend your New Year's Eve?
Um, you know,
What just happened? Am I by myself? Twins is gone. Ah, I'm by myself. Okay, everyone, we are going to wait until Twins comes back. I have no idea what happened. That I do not think was my um, thing because I'm still on. I just don't see him. So I'm going to text him and say, where's that? Where are you at? You jumped off. I don't know what happened. So we're going to wait until Twins come back. But I will tell you about my New Year's Eve that consisted of going to get beautified. I did some self care, got like my eyebrows done and stuff. I then went to a movie. I went to go see um, the movie about the boxer Clarissa Shields. Fantastic movie. I recommend everyone go see it. It was wonderful. And then after the movies, I came back and then I made dinner. And Twin says he's here. His camera just died, so I'm just going to give him a couple of minutes to jump back in. But no, I absolutely recommend going to see the movie. It was very inspiring to go and see the movie about Clarissa Shields' life. It was good to know about her and what she had to endure to become who she is. And she's the only American woman, it says, that has won the Olympics twice back to back. I think it was 2012 and 2016. I believe that's what it was in boxing, and just hearing her life story was amazing. So my New Year's Eve was spent watching a movie by myself. I went by myself. My daughter actually treated me. She bought the tickets and popcorn and everything in advance of me going there. So that was very sweet. And then I came home. I made myself a nice seafood boil, ate that, watched a movie, Ambulance in Netflix, watched the countdown. I couldn't sleep that night for whatever reason. I ended up going to bed at a ridiculous time, but that was my New Year's. That's single New Year's. I don't like to spend New Year's with people who I may not be spending the rest of the New Year with. And so when people invite me to go places with them and go on dates, I'm like, are you someone that I could see actually being my life for the rest of this year? And if the answer is no, I just stay my ASS home. So that was my New Year's. How was everybody else New Year's? How did you spend it? How has the New Year been treating you? I don't know it's only day two, but do you have any plans? Do you have any big things that you want to accomplish in 2025? Let me know in the chat as I wait for Twins to jump back on. His camera died, so I'm just waiting for him to jump in. But for those of you who are watching, let me know what your New Year's Eve was like, and let me know your New Year's plans. I'm just messaging Twins to see where he's at. Do. I'm just here wasting time until you get back on. um, and he's messaging me too. Um, okay, he says he's backstage. Let me see. I don't. Oh, he's backstage. Okay. I didn't see you backstage, bud. Didn't say anything. So thank God you said you're backstage.
I know. Hey y'all, all's well. My camera died on me, and I thought I had it plugged up, and it wasn't plugged up. I'm trying to charge it now, but right now I'm not gonna be on camera for a minute, so it'll get a little bit of juice. But
Okay, all good. They
but I
know
heard
what you look like.
I know, right? But I did hit everything you said about your New Year's, and what I did for my New Year's, I just chilled and relaxed because in my past, New Year tends to be a very dangerous day for my people.
Mm.
So a lot of people did not make it to New Year. Well, not well. All the people I know this year made it to New Year's, but previously I had people who didn't make it in to New Year's. So I've been chilling out on New Year's, just relaxing, play some games, some food, drink, just chill, and my kids were good, so I just relaxed on New Year's Day for me.
I love that. And speaking of people who did not make it, I want to say rest in peace to the victims of the New Orleans van attack. Rest in peace to them, and we pray for their family. I've tried not to watch too much of that stuff since 2020, 2021. I've tried to purge myself of the negativity on the news. So I'm aware of the situation, but I can't say I have watched a lot of it. I heard enough that it was so gut wrenching that I just didn't want to hear anymore. But we pray for their family and their loved ones as they get through probably the most difficult time they'll ever endure in life. So, say a silent prayer for them, everyone. So there we go. Hey, Jeff Short, good evening and happy New Year to you as well. As you see, Twins is here. Unfortunately, you're not going to see him for a while because he's got to charge his battery on his camera. And
Okay.
then you'll get to see his New Year face. So, but we are here and we wanted to discuss some conversations, some topics, some talking points that we over here at Fuck Your Feelings feel should be left in 2024. We've heard enough about them. We personally are over them. We are going to do our best not to also talk about them on this show. And I had sent Twins my list, but right before the show, I thought of one, and so I'm going to make it a bonus one on my list. But Twins, do you want me to read the list, or do you want to read yours and then I'll do mine? How do you want to do this?
Let's see here. I'm pulling my list up right now. Sorry, still trying to troubleshoot at the same time. Give me 1 second.
No worries. And I'm part of mine because I know I sent it to you. I know I sent it to
Yeah,
you
you did.
earlier today. You know what? I not only did I send it to you, I made a list in my drive. I'm pretty sure I did. I made a list. Yes, I did. I made a list in my drive, in my Google Drive of our respective lists. So as you do that, let me find my Google Drive. Do that quickly. Bang, 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 and we will have our list. Again, this is a list of conversation points and relationship discussions. We just like people to leave in 2024. It's been overdone. Let's start talking
Right.
about something new, everybody, please, and thank you from us. And I was just wasting time. You got it, twin?
Yeah, I got mine. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Perfect. I'll let you go first.
so I'm gonna read through some topics I- that that we left in 2024 because it's 2025 now, so we here now. So these are things that we're gonna make sure we don't try to talk about going forward. And let's see. So one for me would be pandering to women. Let's leave that. No, I left that back in 2024. Okay, pandering to women. I'm talking about
And let's define what that is for the people.
it's for these guys out here that want to advocate, which is nothing wrong for advocating for women. It really is not wrong with it, but it usually be the guys who be simping out here. It be the guys that be like, "Oh no, women they are equal to us. They are. My mom was a single mom, and she did everything that men could do. So we don't need men around here." Dude, shut up. Just shut up. 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 You know what I'm saying? Like, and usually these are men who haven't been in a relationship, haven't really gone anything. They just mama, bunch of mama boys. You know what I'm saying? Like we do respect the women over here, but
We
sometimes
do.
we just really we really do. But you guys out here be pandering, stop it. Because then once you in a predicament as being the guy who's being drugged to the book, drugged to the courts, drugged through divorce, drugged through child support, now you want to switch your tune up. Don't talk about nothing if you haven't been through anything yet. Shut up. Mind your business. All right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Because I be hearing this a lot. I'm like, man, shut up. Are you even married? Have you been married? No, okay. Don't talk. You can't tell a man what we need to be doing. Anyway, I digress. Another one. The conversation that men and women are equal. Stop that. I left that. I left that 2023. You know what I'm saying? Forget 2024. I've been left that way behind. At the end of the day, we're we need each other, but we are built differently. There's things that a man can do. There's things a woman can do. But at the end of the day, we are not equal. We're definitely two individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave that alone right there. All right. Masculinity women. I'm leaving y'all behind in 2024. We see how the year went. It didn't work out for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all were independent and lonely New Year's night because you want to be. I pay my own bills. I don't need no dude. Okay, how'd that work out for you? It's 2025 now, and you're still alone. All right, leave that alone. All right, next one I have is oh, here's a good one. This is a good one for me. Leave the courts out of your relationship. That's new, but I'm declaring that for 2025 going forward because I went through divorce. So fortunately, that was brought into my relationship, and it's crazy because I always says I'm saying this jokingly, ladies, you don't want to give your man a threesome, but unfortunately, when the relationship gets rocky, you want to bring a third person in the relationship. Make that make sense. I'm gonna say that again. You did not want to give me a threesome in the relationship, but when it's times get a little rocky, now you're going to bring sweat into our relationship. Where was that? Where's the government at when I had your legs in the air? Where was the government at when I watched you down the aisle and we pay all this money for this wedding? Where were they at? Where were they at when we was pushing the baby out? Where was that when we was changing diapers? All of a sudden, now the courts want to be there at the end of it. Go ahead, Toshiba. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And for those of you who are wondering how to keep the courts out of situations like Twins is talking about, one word: mediation. You can actually mediate your separation, your dissolution of your marriage. You actually don't ever really. I never stepped into court for my divorce. There was no back and forth. You can actually mediate, sit down with somebody, get stuff done, and never actually ever have to enter a court if you do it amicably. So if you're like, oh, what is he going on about? How are we going to leave the courts out of it? You actually can mediate your dissolution of marriage. But continue, Twin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, but that's absolutely right. But at the end of the day, when adults don't want to be adults, that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? When people feel like they need another person to bring things to an end. Yes. But anyway, leave that behind. Ladies, leave it behind because you're right there is the destruction of what is the word? Um, it's financial part. Destruction of it's the money part. When you break up the family, you break up the business, and you break up generation wealth. Divorce is the main thing that destroys generation wealth, and that might be another topic for another day. But we're going to tap into that because generation wealth is now messed up because of that. All right, and last but not least, I have is stop giving kids to the same dudes. Ladies, can we stop doing that, please? Can we leave that in 2023? Four, I mean, can we leave that behind? Can we go forward now in 2025? No new dude. Okay. Now, if you're already pregnant, all right, too late. Hopefully you're married. But ladies, it's 2025. Is the second day of the year already? Let's not give men who already have kids already more kids. I'm gonna say that again. Let's not give men who already have kids unless he's giving you a ring. Can we make that declaration? I think that's fair. I don't think that's too much. Okay, all right, I digress. Go ahead.
That was a good list. Thank you, Twins. And as someone who only has one child with one man, and it was his first child, I agree with that first one because I was not giving no babies to no man with other babies. What are you talking about? My ego couldn't even bear it. I don't. Ladies, actually, how do you do that? Become the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth baby mama? Like seriously, really? Like that's a good choice, life choice for you. But I digress. My list. of things we would like to leave in 2024. I do not want to go online and constantly see conversations about these 5 things plus my bonus. The first one is obsessing over body count. Sir, you know you're going to sleep with that woman anyway. You also know if that woman is a good woman and you fall for her, unless she's been smashed the homies and she's been smashed by the homies, you're going to commit to that woman. So stop going on these platforms talking about if she's got more than 3 or she got more than a handful. I can't be lying. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to us. And it just screams insecurity for me when you start talking about body count, but you want to be a player from the Himalayas and you talk about you've been with tens or hundreds or whatever women, but you're concerned if a woman has more than 5 or 10 men. What does that say about your dick game? But I digress. Number 2, the who's the prize conversation. Can we please leave who's the prize in 2024? That is based on the 2 people in the relationship. Okay? If my man thinks I'm a prize and I think he's a prize, we are both the prize that came together. If your man thinks you're the prize and he's pandering, although we should leave that in 2024, like Twin said off the top, then you're the prize. Enough about going on podcasts and all these things, talk about women are the prize and then this is why we're the prize and whatever they like. Enough. I'm tired of hearing about it. Leave that to your relationship. Your man should think you're the only person who I need to worry about me being a prize is my man. The man
Right.
who changes my last name, that's the only man who needs to worry about because I'm his prize. So we go on with that. Number 3, avoiding accountability for why your relationship or relationship failed.
Mm.
Kevin Samuels, may he rest in peace. I think one of the things that he uncovered about women is when he would say, tell me why your last relationship failed without blaming your ex. And 99.9% of women fail to do that on his show. Ladies, I'm speaking to you specifically. Let's start figuring out why your last relationship failed. I can tell you why mine failed, and I own a lot of why my relationship failed. He can talk about how it failed from his perspective, but I'm going to talk about how it failed from my perspective. Let's bring accountability back. Accountability is sexy, and you can't move forward in a healthy relationship if all you do is blame your ex for why you can't sustain any relationship. So let's leave that back in 2024. Please and thank you. Next one, number 4, calling bad choices mistakes.
Mm.
After the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth baby, those are choices. Number 1, maybe that was a mistake because most of us aren't planned. I know I wasn't, and neither was my child. God love her; she's amazing. But my child wasn't planned. But if I continue to have these these choices, I'm now choosing. So like, let's just say I know I was young and I made a mistake. First of all, your children are not mistakes. You chose to have those babies, and you chose to have them with that man. So let's go back. Twins is off the screen again, but I'm hoping he'll come back. So let's stop saying that, you know what, I made a mistake when you actually made a choice. So let's leave that in 2024. And number 5, before I get to the bonus clip, and Twin should be back shortly, that I want to leave in 2024, getting upset because you don't match someone's dating preference. I watch so many shows where women, and I'm going to speak mostly to women because there's a lot of women on these shows. I know I've experienced it with men, but I'm going to speak to the women right now. If you don't meet a man's dating preference and you want that man, the man is giving you the cheat code because he's told you what his dating preferences are. And if you're in a position to better yourself to go ahead and meet that man's dating preferences, You start from that day forward, but do not shame people because you don't meet their dating preferences. I'll give you an example. Someone tried to shame me because I said I don't date men with young children. So he had a young child. I have made it a rule of mine that I don't date men with children under the age of 16. I have a 23-year-old. I'm not interested. So this man retorted to me and said, well, it's not my fault that you decided to have a baby at 21. We weren't talking about my child. I simply said, we are not compatible because I don't date men with young children. You have a 6-year-old. No, thank you. So trying to shame me because I have a dating preference is crazy. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's leave in 2024 shaming people because you don't meet their dating preference. And my bonus,
Okay.
50-50 conversations.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Can we leave that shit in 2024? Again, that conversation should be happening with the person you are going to share life with.
That's fair.
That's it. If you sit down and you have a conversation with somebody, I let people know how I feel about this that I'm dating. I don't need to go on the entire internet and say, well, I'm not going to do this and I ain't no man better. And no, but he's sending me $50 for lunch. Like, enough. Have that conversation with the men or women you are with. Have a conversation about what your household will look like. If that works for the both of you, God bless you. If 50-50 is great. If 80-20 is good. If 100% on one side. If somebody pays all the bills in the house and somebody else pays for all of the luxuries like the vacations and all of those things, great for you. You guys have that conversation in your house. I don't want to hear any more, ladies. I don't care. I'm over it. The end.
Most of these conversations that people talk about the 50-50, the body count, these are just these are clickbait internet conversations. Meaning that it's a big topic just talking about online, but people are not doing these things in real life. I never sat there and had a conversation with any lady I talked to about how many men they slept with. Um,
Ever in
I'm
life as a man. I think I've had a conversation with somebody once where they said it mattered, but they didn't ask me. And I've never had a significant other, including the man that married me and the two that proposed, asking me about how many men I slept with before they slipped those respective rings on my finger. Those conversations were not happening. So like enough.
right. And normally when that conversation happens, it usually happen with that about body count, not really body count, but sexual conversation. This is how this conversation starts. It'd be like, tell me the craziest place you ever done in that. Like those
Mm,
conversations we have, it ain't how many people you done it with. I ask you, where have you done it at? I don't care who you's with. I just want to know where you done it at. So then I could try either, all right, we can try here and we can go there. We can try this. You know what I'm saying? But it's never
yeah.
how many people, no, no, no. And then when it comes to the money part, I'm me personally, I'm always, I think I'm one of the old school type of dudes. I'm always going to take care of my woman and provide. So that's something that's unheard of. Me asking her to pay 50-50. You know what I'm saying? The only concept I may have is this. All right. Here's my 50-50. This is what 50 looks like to me. If we're going on a date, we'll go to Roof Chris, whatever, right? I get the tab. I'm like, you got the tip? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm just saying, the tab is much way higher.
Thank you. Then the $30 or $40 tip.
I'm like, I'm like, you got the tip? And sometimes I'm really joking with it. But like, yeah, I got a tip. Cool. All right, we're good then. The bill may be
Yeah.
$200 and tip, like you said, is $30. I think you can manage that. If you can't manage that, then
Thank you. There's a
then the
problem.
question is, why you broke? Why you even dating that?
Yeah. Why are you broke?
If
You're
you know what I'm
poor.
saying? The 50-50 is not about 50-50. It's about the person is broke. They
You're
want
poor.
somebody to help pay their bills. That's what comes down to it.
Why are you poor?
Because honestly, with that conversation about 50-50, we hear about it most of the time. it's usually women talking about that. You don't really have men on podcasts talking about, I need a woman to go 50-50 with me. If she ain't going 50-50 with me, none. It's women who feel like they need it. I'm tired of men who want 50-50. Well, who are these men you talking to? Do they?
Thank you. I have never. I had one guy who I asked the question, and I just let him talk, and I was like, okay, cool, we're not compatible. There was nothing else to talk about. But any men that I've ever been with in my adulthood, again, including the one I married and the two that's to the ring, there was no conversation about going 50-50. When we went, things were just how they were. Like I played my role and they had a role. So we need to just like stop it. And the reality is, again, you get what you put out. If you're getting men who are talking about you need to go 50-50, then you need to consider, ladies, what are you putting out there? Like, what kind of men are you attracting? Maybe it's an internal thing. Maybe it's an environment thing. But I'm tired of hearing these conversations. And audience, I see that you guys are putting some comments in, so let me lean in here and put it up. So Jack Spade says, my body count lie that will last with me till become one with my grave. Seven, and that's what the women have had to settle with. So you're telling Jack Spade, hold on. Let me just be clear, Jack Spade, and welcome. You're telling me that you are telling women on these streets that you've slept with seven women. Is that what I just read? That's what you read too, right, Twin?
That's what I read as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jack, I just want to be clear. You're out here telling these women of the good United States of America and whatever other countries you go to have relations with women that you've been with seven women. Please clarify, because if these women believe you, I've got something to sell them. Moving on, Mr. said, accountability. Oh, hell no. I can't. Accountability, sexy ladies. Let's do it. Um, Mr. will they really leave it in 2024 though? Listen, we are definitely leaving it in 2024. Like I can't tell the other people on their podcast what to do, but on Fuck Your Feelings, the list that we gave, and I'm gonna run it down at the end of this show so people do not forget it. The list we gave on this show, we are absolutely leaving those conversations in 2024 because I don't even want to talk about them and I'm tired of hearing about them. What everybody else wants to do, that's on them. Mr. also said, most people don't meet people's dating preferences. It is what it is. And that's accurate, right? I don't meet everybody's dating preferences. And I'm not going to be mad at somebody because I don't. There are men who, despite the fact that I have an adult child, still don't want to date a woman who has children. They might not want to date a woman who has an older child. They might not want to date a woman who's divorced. They might not date a woman who's from the Caribbean, Jamaica. Like, there's all of these myriad of reasons that people don't want to date me. I can't get mad at them for not wanting to date me. I date the people who want to date me. I date the people who love those characteristics, those qualities that I have, instead of worrying about and focusing on the person who doesn't want to date me. But what happens, I find often, is women or men get mad at those people because those are the people they want. And they don't want them back. If someone doesn't want you, you're not going to get mad at them. You don't want them. I don't want you, so who cares if you don't want me? Who cares? But when it's somebody that you want, that you could see yourself with, that you're hoping that they will pick you, and they're like, no, I'm good. I'm good on what you have to offer. People be getting real big mad over stuff like that. People, there are over 8 billion people in the world. Expand your horizon. You'll be all right. Next, Mr. said, if the women had more to offer than coochie and a list of the men wouldn't propose anything 50-50.
That is the fact right there.
I'm gonna leave that one and just sit in silence for a bit. And
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, if you if you ladies, I'm sorry, ladies. This is for you, ladies. Ladies, if you're the package, and I ain't saying that the what's that trophy or the prize. I'm not talking about the prize.
yeah,
I'm talking
love
about
you in front.
package. I'm saying package. I'm talking about you cook, you clean, good sex, everything is on whatever. A man that value all that is going to take care of all of that. say that again. If you have good coochie, you're at peace and all that good stuff, we're gonna do everything possibly to make sure your life is good, stress free, so I can have all the benefits of you. Okay, so like for example, you know what I'm saying? Like, once women they be like, hey, they want most okay, they don't say it, but they want it, right? They want allowances, right? Okay. And if you happen to y'all live together, she had her own spot, you had her own spot, whatever. And y'all come together to be one. And her rent or mortgage or whatever it may be is probably less than what you're paying. So let's say for example, she has a house and it's $500 a month, y'all moving together. Instead of giving her allowance, it's like, you know what, babe, I'm gonna take care of the mortgage. That $500 you was gonna pay towards the rent, whatever, do whatever you want to do with it. There you go. There you go. And keep it moving. But at the same time, do other things that's gonna make her life easy and stress-free. All I'm saying is that at the end of the day, a man who finds a good thing is gonna do everything to keep that woman happy. Simple as that. So if you talking about 50-50 out the gate, that's gonna be a problem. Because either y'all both got your finances together, or you got yours together, or she don't, whatever. But I mean, at the same time, having a conversation about finances is very important. So have that conversation day one. So if day one, matter of fact, before y'all even get to the date, y'all should be talking about finances. If 50-50 is a problem, you shouldn't even go to a date. There shouldn't be a situation where y'all both falling where y'all mad because he won't pay his half, or he wants you pay his half or your half. How does y'all even get to that point, right? That means y'all failed at communication, which was the theme of last season 6. That was the foundation of relationships, communication. So, all right, I'm done there. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I just wanted the men to talk. Okay, Mr. again. Long-term relationships need to be reciprocal, one way or another, or else it won't last. Reciprocity is the core of the issue. Key. And I think that's where that 50-50 conversation, going back to that, lies, is men, when they're having those conversations with you ladies, I'm just going to be straight up. It's almost like they say you don't really add value, right? You're not putting in enough to drive the relationship that they're looking for. And I mean, I know men who have supposedly gone 50-50 with other women and not with me. I'm just going to leave that one there. Okay. And Jeff Short says, dang, he has to log off. Yes, Jeff, you missed the list, but I am going to circle back to the list at the end of the show so that everybody knows the things that we are leaving in 2024. Okay, so for the second half of the show, I want to talk about why bringing fuck your feelings into your relationship is a good thing. And I was watching a clip and I sent it to Twins earlier. And I think it hit home for me because, again, if you don't know, I started this show, 3 years ago with my now ex, and it was precipitated off of, and I'll explain just quickly about that after this clip. But it's because of a breakdown in communication. And I know we said season 6 was communication, but what this woman was talking about hit home, and it will probably hit home for a lot of you men who are watching. And then I'll explain the premise of why I want you to bring fuck your feelings into your relationship. So in 2, 1, here we go.
Unpopular opinion, most men are not bad communicators, but a lot of women are conversation bullies. You have decided prior to speaking to your man what happened, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened, and who it happened with, long before he's had a chance to even give his side of the story. Now, whenever you come to speak to him and he's trying to talk to you, you continue to cut him off. You continue to interrupt him. And now he's just sitting there going, okay, whatever. And he let you think whatever you want to think. And he apologizes just to end the argument and end the conversation. And y'all don't get to the bottom of anything. Now your new thing is, I don't understand why he doesn't speak to me or tell me anything, because baby, you don't allow him to. You have now made him feel emotionally unsafe. So why would he come to you and speak to you about anything? Because you are a conversation bully, baby.
Message. She said it, not me, ladies. She said it, not me.
And I will say, as a woman who has dated a woman or two in my life, I've experienced the same thing with women of where they're coming to me and they've already created this thing in their mind, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, what? Like, then I'm not going to talk to you. I'm walking away. So I don't envy men in this situation because having experienced it, I don't want no parts of it. Like, no, thank you. And so why I'm saying to bring your fuck your feelings or the concept of fuck your feelings in a relationship to have a good relationship. Here is why, because that's going to cut out that bullshit that she just talked about. So when I would go into a conversation with my ex, I would say, or he would say, this is a fuck your feelings conversation. And what that essentially meant is sit down and shut the fuck up and listen. I'm going to be like blunt and straight up. That's literally what that meant. I'm about to take this moment and you need to pack your feelings at the door because I'm going to express what I need to express. I'm going to get it off my chest and I do not want you interrupting me. Go ahead.
I just want to add to that. And when he say fuck your feelings, ladies and gentlemen, it's forget the tone. So remove your feelings to my tone, remove the way how I say it, and just listen to what I'm saying. Go ahead.
That part. And it was never a disrespectful conversation. They were actually the most productive conversations that we were having because there was never a point where I would interject my feelings or he would interject his feelings when we were expressing what was going on. Because when we got to this point, there was something that was bothering us so much that that's where we went. And we just didn't want to be in a situation where I'm like, but that just hurt my feelings. And now he's in a space where he's like, so I can't express myself because now I've got to be concerned about your feelings, and I don't get room to express me. And I find like when we started the show and we explained the premise, there were so many men who are like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm putting this in my relationship. We actually used to get messages in DMs from people who are like, oh my God, especially men, actually mostly men, who are like, I'm trying this in my relationship. And we are not together for a myriad of reasons, but it wasn't for lack of communication um, in our relationship. So I would say, gentlemen, really think about it. You may not want to call it a fuck your feelings discussion. There are some women who might get, the name of my show is, yes, it's very triggering for some people. But I'm Jamaican, we're blunt. It is what it is. And so it works for us, but choose a line where you are going into this conversation and your partner knows this is for you to listen, to understand, not to respond. And that is the premise of a fuck your feelings discussion. It's to listen to understand, not to respond. And at the same time, I should say, at the same time, it's for the other person to feel safe to be vulnerable in that relationship. Because I think one of the biggest issues I hear men say is, my woman doesn't make me feel safe or vulnerable to express my feelings. I fear that I'm going to say something and she's going to take that thing and throw it back at me because she was listening to respond and not to understand. And Twins, I'd love for you to expand a little bit on that as a man.
The feelings part or being open.
Yeah, being open and
being vulnerable.
Yes, just being vulnerable.
Ladies, that's very key when it comes to relationships, especially early in relationship. As y'all getting to know each other and you liking each other, XYZ. If a man feels very comfortable or vulnerable with you, he's going to open up about his feelings about certain things. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do about his past or what something happened to him like that. No, it's just I'm being vulnerable with my feelings towards you. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes as men, we keep a lot of things to ourselves. Like, a lady will be like, why don't you tell me how you feel? Why don't you just be more open with me? And, whatever. Because then we'll do that. And then when we do things, you'll be like, you're being whiny. You know what I'm saying? Then, all right, you know what? I'm gonna shut up, not say nothing. And then now you're like, what's wrong? Why can't you don't say that no more? because like a couple months ago or a year ago, you said I was being whiny. No man wants to be whiny. No man want to be called soft. None of that shit. So as soon as you say some stuff like that, I'm gonna shut it down and not gonna say nothing else. Because first off, I got comfortable being in it. First off, I was already going through the battle in my head already to get to that point to tell you about my feelings, right? Like it's not feeling, but being open about you and who I am, X, Y, Z. So once I did that on my own, okay, I'm comfortable doing it. But as soon as you say something like that, I'm gonna zip tie that bitch up, lock it up, and throw away the key, and you'll never get that side me again because you're not gonna throw that back in my face. Never again. So being vulnerable is if you get your man to be vulnerable with you, ladies, you're in there. If you can get a man to be vulnerable with you, he likes you a lot. But once you mess that up, it's a wrap. And it's really hard to get it back. Because guess you know what? Here's why it's hard to get it back. Because we won't tell you when you lost it. Message.
Mr. Mister, this is a very valuable concept your ex proposed. Let me just be clear. I proposed it. He just told me to fuck my feelings. He told me to fuck my feelings, but I proposed it as a show and I proposed it as a framework for our relationship because after I clutched my invisible pearls when he told me fuck your feelings, I was like, you know what? You're actually onto something here. You're actually onto the fact that as women, we often get so caught up in our own feelings that our men don't get to express theirs. And then we get upset at our men later on for not expressing their feelings, but we never allowed them to do it in the first place, so they just stopped expressing. But I digress.
Because, it's when you said that, because I'm just thinking about my previous relationships that I had. When I had a conversation, it's like I can't get through the point or get through what I'm trying to talk to because all I hear is I feel I don't like the way you're talking to me instead of listening to what I'm saying. Forget how I'm saying it and what I'm saying it. My intent is not to XYZ, but I need to get my words out. Most men, most, not all, most of us are not very good with expressing our feelings or not way. So it may come out a certain way, but hear me out. Listen to understand. Once you once you understand what I'm saying, then you can chop down what I'm trying to say instead of focus on, I don't like how you're talking at me. I don't like the way your tone is. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop it. Because men could go in front of a group of men and lead men and there'll be no problems. If somebody do a job wrong, I can go and this dude, I ain't gonna say that. I could tear him a new one. I could tear him a new one over here without us having to go outside in the back and square up. You know what I'm saying? Where if I say something to my lady, she's crying, she's feeling. I gotta get through her feelings to get to a point. But I can tell this guy over here, hey man, you effed up over here, man, brother. But at the end of the day, it's all respect. You know what I'm saying? We got a job, we got something we're working towards, we gotta do. You might have effed up, but we cool. I'm just trying. Does that make sense what I'm saying there?
No, it makes sense. And I'm gonna clarify. Let me just finish what Mr. Victor said. He said most women in my own experience are not mature enough to handle such a style of communication. Now, I think the key for this style of communication, gentlemen, is that there was never any swearing. There was never raised voices in terms of raised voices in anger. We were both allowed to be expressive. I am naturally an expressive person. I speak a lot with my hands, but I'm generally not a screamer. And neither was my ex. He wasn't a yeller. And again, if he was expressing himself and his voice, raised a bit, as long as he wasn't yelling or screaming or disrespecting me, he had emotional regulation, so he knew to do that. Now, if it gets disrespectful, it's another thing. It is just setting the framework that, again, you're both able to communicate and articulate what is going on with you in the relationship without the other person interjecting their own feelings, because that becomes burdensome. Like, I can't be in a situation where I'm trying to express how I feel and be concerned about how my feelings make you feel in the conversation. And again, I was hearing a lot of this from men about that, the situation they were often in with, whether it was their spouse or, their long-term partner. they were not able to do that. And I think, like, whatever you decide to call this conversation, I think you need to have those moments where you go in and there's a key word that you say to your partner. And again, they know it's time to listen, to understand, not respond, sit down, shut up, and just hear what I'm saying and actually hear me, not just listen to me, hear what I'm saying. Mr. Mitchell also say this is a common point where so many women lose it with their man. Um, and then he says, defund the tone police. That
Yes.
is one gentleman. Like, do you find that women always talk about, I don't like your tone?
Yes. Yes, yes, the tone police, the tone police. I'm so tired of tone police. I'm tired of tone police when I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? As a man and also being a black man and working in corporate America, you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You kind of always have to kind of tone your voice because people get intimidated. So you gotta
that
be,
part.
you gotta be, hey, yeah, I don't, I think we should go a different route with this way, because you say a certain way, people get scared.
Oh, 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 oh.
Like I'm a
You're a
beast.
little aggressive there, Dwayne. You're a little aggressive.
Trust
Always
me.
aggressive.
Yes, I can't tell how many times. I mean, how many times in Come America I was told by my tone, and I had to, take a deep breath. Like what? No problem. I will work on it. Like mother in my head, like motherfucker, if you don't got your feelings, you don't know this tone. Oh, you hear those? Now I'm triggered.
and,
It's
and and I think, yeah, I think, I'm sorry to cut you, but
my
I
fine.
think, ladies, that part is important in knowing what your men have to deal with on a day-to-day basis when they step outside of the home, right? What is my man dealing with, and how do I create a safe space and a solace when he re-enters the home? And I think that was always important to me in my previous relationship because we lived together for 2 years, and he had a very stressful corporate job, and I worked at home. I was a consultant, still am a consultant, but my role then was to be a consultant. And so I didn't have to tackle the things that he tackled outside of the world as a big black man. And yes, he was, and again, when you're a big black man, no disrespect, but when you're 5'7" or 5'8", the conversation isn't the same than when you're a big 6 foot and over black man because they already see you as a brooding force. And my ex was 6'9", so imagine that conversation in the corporate world in finance. And so for me, it was always creating a safe space for him. And listen, ladies, I think the important part is our men are not going to talk to us like our girlfriends. If that's what you want, get yourself a lesbian lover. And even the studs don't talk to you like that. So you got to get yourself a lipstick lesbian lover. Because the studs ain't even talking to you like that. Okay, like, okay. The studs are talking to you like ninjas, okay? So if you're expecting your man to talk to you in the tone of your besties, well, then bring your problems to your besties. A man, again, as long as he has emotional regulation and is speaking to you with respect, should be safe with his woman to be able to express himself in whatever tone he feels is necessary, as long as it's not a disrespectful tone. Because
Right.
there's a difference.
And also too, to add another layer to it too. Um, if I can't have a conversation with you on that level, then you're gonna open the door for the side chick,
What
the
the
work,
side chick?
the side chick, the work wife. The female gym partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying because someone's going to hear me out and they're going to listen. And then where you fail to listen, that's where they get to creep in. See, ladies, sometimes you kind of push your man unintentionally. Let me say this, ladies, sometimes you unintentionally push your man away or you push him into another relationship unintentionally because he can't come and talk to you. He can't be open and vulnerable with you. So where you don't listen, that war wife is sitting there and listening, hear all the problems. Like, oh, I can't believe that. And she ain't talking about no tone police at all. I'm just saying this is how these relationships start. If y'all want to know why do men go out here and cheat or XYZ, sometimes, lady, you kind of pushes that route to have another relationship. It's your fault because I can't be vulnerable with you.
Mhm.
See, don't want to talk about that. They're like, well, you need to have self-control. You need to have this. I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying. But if I can't talk to you, who can I talk to? Okay.
Who
All
can
right.
I run to?
Good.
Here's the thing, ladies. I know that was probably triggering for some of you. And as a wife that has been cheated on, it should be triggering for me, but it's not. Why? Because I'm listening to understand, not to respond. The reality is there are men that cheat and there are men who have affairs. Often the men who have affairs, they have affairs for the very reason that Twins is saying. And an affair is when he is devoting time, attention, and financial resources into a relationship outside of your relationship. There are men who are going to cheat and listen, they will chop a chick down, don't know her name, and feel nothing about it. But men who actually go out and have affairs with one woman is because he feels safe with her when he doesn't feel safe with you. And is that entirely your fault? You might not want to own all of it, but I think it is important that you do own some of it. There are some other conversations that are happening. So Mr. Mrs. says all the time, especially when you said something and they know you're right, but they don't want to acknowledge that you're right. Now it's about tone. This is
Mm,
why I said accountability is sexy.
mm-hmm.
Accountability is sexy, and it's funny because I'm writing a series right now, and there is actually a part that when I was writing today where I actually speak on that, where the woman was upset um, at the man, and I basically said to the character basically says, "I'm not mad at him, I'm mad at myself, but I'm not at a point where I'm ready to acknowledge that I'm mad at me, so I have to be mad at him." And that's what happens. Sometimes we're not ready to acknowledge that, you know what, I messed up. And so it's easier to project. It's called projection. It's easier to project onto somebody else. But the issue is you don't understand the impact of lack of self awareness, lack of accountability in sustaining that long term relationship. If you want, and again, the people who come over here, we are not here to talk about the hit it and the misses and we're talking about long-term sustainable relationships. We are two previously married people who are still marriage minded, and we love to share with our audience one day when that day comes, right? And these are the people we want on the show. So you have to start thinking about, am I in a place that I am healthy enough to have a long-term sustainable relationship? And if I'm not, what do I need to work on to ensure that's happening? And some of that is your own emotional regulation. Some of that is your own self awareness. And a lot of that is your own propensity to make other people wrong and you the victim. And ladies, I have to tell you that I love us, but a lot of us play victims in a relationship when we're actually the perpetrator of the issue. But I move on. Jeff is saying triggering, but truthful. Sometimes it's not enough to just be triggered by something and shut down. You can own that feeling and say, and then you need to have a moment, be like, why am I triggered by this? It's not enough just to be like triggered, because that's what the young kids say right now, right? Twins are like triggered online everywhere I go. It's triggered. I'm like, shut the hell up. Y'all need therapy, but I digress. But therapy does help you. You have to say, why am I triggered by what he said or what he does? Does that mean that I need to do some work? And what work do I need to do to ensure that something like whatever, like what Twins just said, which was a truthful moment, Twins gave you some real ish. But a lot of that is going to trigger you who are watching it right now or watching the replay later on and be like, da, 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 whatever. Although they're never mad at you, Twins, but they have a lot to say about me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, You know what I'm saying? You're going to get triggered because you're not listening to the entirety of the message and the meaning behind it. And that's why you need to figure out why is something triggering me. Don't just let something trigger you. Figure out why it's triggering you. And Mr. said, Twins is saying something right here. They even made a song about this back in the 60s. It's called The Cleanup Women. She does everything you won't do. I'm going to have to find that song. Let me go to Spotify. Actually, let me go to YouTube that we're on. See, YouTube, I'm even promoting you. The Cleanup Woman. Listen, there have been many songs made up about side chicks and what side chicks do. By Betty Wright. Is that the song you're talking about, Mister? I see Cleanup Woman here by Betty Wright, which I will listen to later. But you know what I think is so interesting about relationships that we have to remember? It's two individual people coming together to form a union. And unfortunately for us, it means two individual people with whatever baggage they have from their past, the trauma, even the good things. You're coming together and you're trying to sort through all of that to try to become one. And that's hard enough without lack of self awareness and a lot of things that are going into a lot of these relationships. So again, I'm not gonna harp on this too long, but whatever you want to call this, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to take the term fuck your feelings, feel free to take it and say we're having a fuck your feelings conversation. Whether you want to call it, we're having an open, honest conversation, whatever it is, you need to have a phrase within your relationship that it literally means sit down, hush up, and let me express what it is I want to say without interjecting your feelings into this conversation. Twins, last point on this before we get into some questions and I do a quick breakdown of what we're leaving in 2024.
Okay. So
No final thoughts?
found on that. Not really. I mean, I think we hit everything on. I'm. I'll just say this. I'm pretty sure you'll probably get some inboxes on what I said about you pushing your man to have a side chick, whatever. Is that those women right there are already stuck on what I said. They didn't get to the whole point of why the man may step out into that. So those ones right there already trigger alone, just off that alone. And if you get triggered of that alone, lady, you need to look in the mirror and just look in the mirror. Maybe you are the problem. Because people, because on many platforms, on many conversations, women will say men should never cheat. I agree, we shouldn't. I absolutely agree. We should never cheat. I agree. But yes, I said but. So dismiss the first part. Yeah, I said it. Big but. B-U-T. But you know what I'm saying? You won't keep pushing me away. That's called cause and effect. So yeah, I'm done. I just want to let my plane there. We'll go to the next topic.
Love that. Okay, so if you missed the beginning of the show, I am going to repeat me and Twins' list of conversations, topics, and ideas we would like left in 2024. Starting with Twins' list: pandering to women, trying to be equal, masculinity in women, leave courts out of your relationships, and stop giving kids to the same dude, and then coming on the internet, I'm now ad-libbing, and then coming on the internet and complaining about those kids not taking care of your kids after you saw him not take care of the other women's kids.
Message.
My list. Obsessing over body count. No one cares. Have that conversation in your relationship. Stop making clickbait because we don't care. The who's the prize conversation. The only person you should matter having that about is the man or woman that you're with. If your man thinks you're a prize and your woman thinks you're a prize, that's all that matters. Get off the internet talking about who's the prize. Avoiding accountability for why your relationship failed. You're the common denominator in your failed relationship, so it's no way it was always the other person's fault as to why that relationship did not last. Calling bad choices mistakes. After the first child, every choice after that, ladies, is a choice. The same with you, gentlemen. After the first baby mama that you slipped up with, every other baby mama was a choice you made with your team. Getting upset because you don't match someone's dating preferences. Be better for that person that you want so they can want you, and stop coming on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet and going on the show talking about how there are no good men and this, that, and next thing. But I digress. And my bonus 50-50. We're done with the 50-50 conversations, and we're leaving those conversations in 2024. So there is our list. I am going to see what Mr. is saying. This is, I'm not even going to ask questions. I'm just going to go straight to Mr. and then we are going to go into our dating tips. This will be our first dating tips for 2025. Mr. says, why are so many women's dating history filled with trauma? Question mark. My dating history is full of fun, happiness, and some annoyance sprinkled in there, but no trauma. Is this word just being overused?
Ooh,
Yes.
I like that. Yes, I agree.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
He has
Yes and yes.
he has a point.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I could honestly say I've dated a lot of women, before I got married. I don't have any trauma. I don't have any trauma. I had a lot of annoyance, like he said. A few scares, of course, but nothing to where that is going to prevent me from talking to another woman. Like, and there's nothing that it's nothing like a new woman can say is going to make me trigger about something what a previous woman did. You understand what I'm saying? So here's a point. Like, what kind of relationships and stuff are y'all going through where I got you, where you're carrying over multiple traumas from many dudes into your new one? I'm done. Go ahead.
Most of us don't experience trauma. We experience failed relationships and regret from those failed relationships. Let me just be clear of some of the things that I would consider trauma. Um, because we're not able to use the word fully on YouTube, I will say SA. So S assault, right? I think we all know what that is. Um, the R word related to S assault, right?
Right.
Um, Physical or emotional, even financial abuse in a relationship, and also SAs in relationships. That is trauma. Okay, those are considered trauma, and you have trauma responses if you had experienced that either in a relationship or through growing up in your familial situation. That is trauma. A man breaking your heart is not trauma. It is a natural course of a relationship. Your heart is going to get broken at some point. My therapist made it very clear, ladies, go to therapy. It is important. With great love can come great loss. And you're never going to experience either if you're not open to either. You can't experience great love without being open to saying, you know what, this great love may lead to loss. I have been cheated on in my marriage, had a baby or three in my marriage. Okay. I was called by the woman my man cheated on me with. There was a lot of things that happened, and no part of that did I go triggered. If someone like triggered for what? Get some help. Triggered is the new excuse for women's bad behavior. Shit, I'm triggered by their bad behavior. I can only manage men how you feel. It is an excuse for bad behavior. It is an excuse for them to lack accountability. It is an excuse for them not to be better. It's an excuse for them not to get help. I'm with you, Mr. I look at my past relationships and I think of joy and fun and good times. There's no part of me who's quivering in bed talking about, oh my God, the trauma, and I'm so triggered. If you are that triggered by what's happened in your past that you're unable to enjoy your present and look towards your future, you need to get help and you should not be dating.
Mm.
It is not another man's responsibility to heal me from my past traumas. Keyword mine. They are mine. They are mine. That means I alone need to put in the time to heal them. And another thing I actually want people to leave in 2024 is to talk about, well, a real man would do this. A real man would help me heal my trauma. A real man will take me with five baby daddies. A real man, stop. Because a real woman does not have five baby daddies. A real woman does not bring all of your past trauma into a new relationship. And I'm sorry I got really upset about this, but like that really like Mr. you brought that one because that should be irritating me. And I think it's actually ridiculous. And we need to take accountability because we keep having these same conversations. Let's talk about how to get healed. Heal thyself. How are you planning to heal yourself in 2025? How are you ensuring that the baggage that you have from all of the years of dating are not brought into the new year? How are you going to ensure that you get that help that you need so you can be a whole person? Like, let's talk about that in 2025. Enough of the trigger, enough of the trauma. It just has become a buzzword that women are using because they lack accountability and self awareness.
Mm. Message.
And Mr. says it's just an honest question I've had on my mind for a few years now. And it's a question I'm glad that you asked tonight because again, it allows us to say, let's leave that crap in 2024 because no one wants to deal with that. Because gentlemen, I'm be honest, I don't want to deal with your mother wounds. We're old. I'm 45 years old. I date men 45 to 55. I am not dealing with your mother wounds. If you had a tumultuous relationship with your mother, go find a therapist and pay them some money. I am sorry, I cannot help you. I cannot deal with it. I cannot love you through your mother wound. I can love you if you're on the road to healing. I think it is important that I'm aware of this relationship you had with your mother and how it framed who you are as a person and your mindset around love and whatever. But I can't love you and heal you through your mother wounds or your father wounds or what your ex-wife did. I cannot do that. Nor is it my responsibility because I am not going to bring that. What my ex-husband did, my daddy was great. My daddy didn't do nothing. My mama, she's all right, but I'm not bringing my parental stuff, my familiar stuff, the struggles of why I had to be a single mother. I'm not bringing any of this. I'm trying to have fun and enjoy the latter part of my years, and I'm not loving you through your mother wounds. And ladies, ain't no much. If you didn't have a daddy, talk to your mama. Don't talk to your man. If your daddy wasn't around, ask your mama where your daddy was. Then find your daddy and talk to your daddy. Stop going to your man expecting him to tell you why your daddy wasn't around. And why the first man who was supposed to love you didn't love you. Now expecting this man to heal you from 30 something or 40 something years of trauma that you haven't dealt with.
Mm. That right there was a message right there, ladies and gentlemen. I know as kids you may have resentment towards your mom or dad, mainly the dad because they're usually the one that's gone. But before you start judging, have that conversation open with your dad and your mom because it's his side, they're her side, and somewhere in between there's the what? The truth.
The truth. Seriously, listen, let me just be clear. If someone is supposed to have trauma, I am supposed to have trauma. I am the product of an affair. It's so sad for me. My mommy and daddy had an affair, and that's how I was born. Isn't that sad? You
Mm.
fucking kidding me? No. I had two loving parents who loved me. I actually had an extra parent, and I had family all around me who loved me and supported me. My daddy isn't a bad man because he had an affair, and then I was produced. And so all men are bad men, and it's awful men because my daddy. Are you kidding? Like I'm 45 years old. If I was still talking about that, that would be ridiculous. And I was blessed because my daddy was amazing. So if you want to talk about trauma, I could go around a list of things and talk. I had to emigrate to a new country. I got separated from my father. Blah 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 blah. I didn't know who my mother was until I was 5 years old. Who my real mom. I could go through a list of things. But you know what? I can pay for therapy as well. It's about $120 an hour. Find some money, pay for therapy. Y'all are paying for weaves and eyelashes and all of the different things and BBLs. Invest into your mindset and your emotional stability. Because some of you look great on the outside, but your insides are rotten.
And I'll just say this to the fellas, you know, fellas, work on yourself, be accountable. I know it's all thick and wet and moist and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? It'd be tempting. I get it, fellas. Either you strap up or pull out. I'm just saying. We got to stop out here. Just you know what I mean? I know. I get it. It be weak sometimes. Sometimes you got to pull out. On top of that, you got to be on your A game. You know what I'm saying?
I'm deceased.
Yeah, I gotta speak to the fellas too, man. So I guess it can't be all on the women. As fellas, we gotta be accountable too for ourselves too. You know what I'm saying? We pick and choose. Slipped up, slipped in, forgot what I was doing. Usher said it. You know what I mean? That's you know what I'm saying? Those condoms and other stuff. That's what it's made for. Use them.
Oh my god.
So we ain't creating these so-called broken families. So let's try to be better. I'm not guilty. Well, I'm guilty because I'm divorced, but I was married, so I guess I created a broken home, but I was divorced though. But
you didn't create a broken home. I that's another thing I hate when women out here who are divorced talking about their single mothers. Hurry up. Are you a single mom because you were married and you had a partner and you went to the courthouse and filed for divorce? So are you a single mom, or are you a woman who chose to separate your family? And now you're raising your children alone. But you're not alone because you had a husband.
Yeah.
And unless your husband runs away and disappears, that court order that you went to, you guys, I don't know any man that's divorced who's not splitting their kids basically 50-50.
Message.
Any divorced men I've dated, it's like I have my kids Tuesday to Thursday and she has them, and then we switch like holidays, weekends, it's all kinds of, I don't know any man who was divorced that is not seeing their children 50-50 because they chose that woman to have a baby with and they want to be in their children's life. So divorced women, please, when you have children, stop going around talking about, now I'm a single mother. No, you're not. You're not a single mother. Yes. Like real single mothers, you do not want to be a real single mother. Do not call that shit up on yourself.
Right.
Mr. Mrs. bringing it tonight, so let's answer this. Also, how much are men supposed to tolerate from your past if you're not even bothered to get therapy? Nothing. You're to tolerate nothing.
Yeah, fellas, it's up to us. Honestly, based on that statement there, it's up to you. If you sit there long enough, so if you stay there and keep dealing with that, at the end of the day, it's on you. Especially if you ain't got no attachment to her. I mean that you ain't got no kids and with her. It's on you. If you stick around and deal with that headache, that's totally on you. I'm on you accountable. Because there's nothing that's keeping you there. There's nothing that's keeping you there. So.
Absolutely. And listen, I had to do that in a relationship I was with. I gave that person a timeline. I said, I need these things fixed by here, and I want to see that you're actually making positive steps towards it. And when the timeline came and went, I went. Because I was serious. If I said that the timeline is January 1st passed, and I give you 30 days, because that's when something is due, 30 days, by February 1st, I'm out. So if I say I'm the idiot because I told you what the problem is, I've asked you to get help, you said that you're going to do it, and you're sitting there and wallowing in it, why would I stay? No, gentlemen, You're not required to stay. If a woman's talking about I have trauma because my daddy wasn't here, my mama wasn't this, and the men have broken my heart, and all you hear is this, and you say, listen, I love you, but I need you to be able to take positive steps toward that, go to therapy, whatever you need to do. And she's like, oh, but, or makes an excuse. You give her a timeline and then give her 30 days. That's all I would give somebody, 30 days past that timeline, and then you're out. I don't love nobody that much. I'm sorry. I know that was probably a terrible statement coming from a woman. I don't love nobody that much. I love myself more than I love anybody else, and even my child. Because I don't know why people feel, oh, I love my child more than myself. If you can't love yourself well, how are you going to love your child? If you don't know what it is to love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? And what I will not do is bring somebody else into my very peaceful life to make it tumultuous. Why do you want to invite toxicity into your life? That just sounds ridiculous to me, but I digress. And final comment before we go into our dating tips, Mister, get your dating tip ready, please. I understand that I have family members that are pushing 50 years, still crying about growing up poor. I didn't say it out loud, but I said, grow the F up. I got
Message.
nothing else. Because you're lucky your eyes said it, because my mouth says it, where I'm just like, are we still here? Thank God I'm not surrounded by people like that, like negative Nancy's is what they're called, because I can't. I'm not in a place where I can even tolerate that, because we're too old. And I'm going to tell you, coming from a third world country that I'm from, where there is no social welfare system, there is no government to help you find houses when you have babies with the wrong men, when you fall on bad times, when you start taking drugs or alcohol, and we don't have that in Jamaica. You have kids if you got multiple kids, multiple men, your family have to help you. There is no government system that you go and stand in a line to get food stamps. You don't get housing. You don't get anything. You know what? You get left bad with your bad choices. So I'm gonna be honest, coming from where I come from, I have no sympathy, because I've had to see people who didn't even have running water in their homes or have electricity. There's still family members that I have that live in the country that have what we call, you guys call it an outhouse, we call it a pit toilet, that you literally dig a hole, that's where they go and defecate. They don't have running water. They don't have electricity. So for me, when I hear the nah, 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 I'm just like, cry me a river, because you live in this first world society that gives you all the opportunity. And if you choose to squander the opportunity that you're given, that's on you. Shut the fuck up. I'm done.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
I need to get that out. I need to get that out tonight. I need to get the stuff out, so I got it out.
Ball.
But I digress. Okay, I'm going to start with my dating tip for 2025. Be intentional. And part of intentionality, I would say, is, and this is for my ladies, make a dating list of qualities that are truly important in your man. And I'm not talking about being over 6 feet tall, and having an athletic body and chiseled features. Okay, that's not the list I'm talking about. I'm talking about a list where, when you think about your husband and the type of men you want to spend the rest of your life with, what does he look like? What is he like? You know, emotional regulation is on my list. It is important for a man to be able to regulate his emotion. Ambitious, is he driven? Like really describe and be intentional. And then when you make that list, stick to that list. It don't matter how fine he is, because sometimes you'd be like, oh, I know that this is on my list. I know I want a man who's got these, who speaks well, but this man is so fine. I know he says ninja, ninja all the time and calls women bees, but he's so damn. No. You make the list, you stick with the list, and the men who do not fit that list, do not date them, because that's how we end up being somebody's baby mama, because we ignored these very amazing qualities that our men are supposed to have for a man who's 6'5" with an athletic body, and looks like he came out of a GQ magazine. And remember Prison Bay? Let's not forget Prison Bay, how women went crazy over a man from his prison photo. Don't be that woman, ladies. That is my dating tip. Twins.
Dating tip for 2025. Happy New Year's once again. Fellas, date a woman um, that one can apologize and take accountability. Now that's gonna be hard to find because you're gonna have to go through not. So I'm not saying intentionally do something intentional and see if she's gonna take accountable, see if she apologize. But as you're dating and as you're getting to know each other, you're gonna knock heads unintentionally, okay? Because you're getting to know each other. You're two individuals. You have your way, she have her way. So y'all gotta come together and mesh it together. What I'm saying that during our process, there will be an argument. There will be something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
If she can take accountability and apologize for it, she a keeper.
I love that.
And,
I
and one last thing too, and also, I'll tell anybody, don't ever get married until you have your first argument,
Ooh. Ooh.
because then you'll see the true colors of somebody. So I'm not saying go out there create an argument. No, I'm not saying choose violence. All I'm saying that once you have that argument and y'all able to deal with that conflict,
That's true.
then you'll see how he or she's going to be, how they act
Mm-hmm.
mad, how they talk to you mad, how you work through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. And once again, after all that, if you come out there with a apology and accountability, she's a keeper. I'm done.
I love that. The same applies to women. I was in a situation that I had to cut the cord on something because after the first argument, I was like, this is not going to be the rest of my life. I'm good on this. This is disrupting my peace. So that is a great tip. We're going to go to Mr. Mister's tip. Mr. Mister says, ladies, this is for you. If you have a list of what you want from a man, you need to have just as long a list of what that man actually wants from you. And I'm going to actually change a little bit what the man will receive from you. Get that info from men. If you can't listen to men, you have a deeper problem. I love that. Um, Another thing to leave in 2024, ladies, stop listening to other women about what men want and listen to the men you want tell you what they want from you.
I like it.
Too many times I'm going on the internet and other women are pandering to other women. No, girl, you're amazing. I know you're 340 pounds and 5'4", but that man should love you anyways. Yeah, girl, it doesn't matter if you've got 5 kids by 5 men. Oh no, a real man is gonna take you and them kids and take care of you. Lies, lies, all lies. It's all lies. So you want a quality man? Find the networks that quality men are talking about what they want in their woman and go and listen to those. And if you are not that woman, you desire to be that woman, figure out how to be that woman. Now, if you got 5 kids by 5 baby daddies, good luck to you. That's over for you. Sorry. And don't tell me that your mama's sister friend, blah, 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 the lady from church, she found her a man. That is very rare. I know one woman who's done that out of the hundreds of women that I know. So you got to figure some things out. You need to find you a man with just as many baby mamas and you guys can go off and do your own thing. But if you think you're getting a 6-figure man who is fine and all, girl, bye bye. That train left after baby daddy number 2. But start listening to men. Told you I had some things to get off my chest today. That is it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of 2025 of Fuck Your Feelings. We are going to have an amazing year, and I look forward to seeing where this show goes. I look forward to hearing the amazing things um, that everyone wants to accomplish. And I have actually my last PSA. I've been actually getting a lot of emails about how you start your own show. Um, my advice: just start your own show. Get a camera, get a microphone. This one I have from Amazon. It cost me like $15, and just start it. Be prepared for the love, but also be ready for the hate. People are not always going to love what you have to say, but go out and just start it. Make 2025 the year that you do everything that you want to do. I'm also going to say I will have a new book series coming out in April. April will be the first of my 6-part book series that I'm going to be calling Love Rules. So look out for my books starting in April. I'm going to drop a book every month for 6 months. And it's entitled Love Rules. For look out for that. And then after that is going to come the Fuck Your Feelings book as well. Twins, anything you want to shout out going into 2025? Or we in 2025?
Health, wealth, and happiness.
I love that.
Mic drop.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And Mister's got some tips for you too. Just do it and talk about the things you want to talk about. Your energy on those topics will lead you places. Absolutely. That's what I did. I just got up this, I sat there and I started talking, and here we are. We actually recently hit 1,400 subscribers. That might not be a lot for a lot of people, but trust me, it is a lot for someone who decided just to have a show one day and called it Fuck Your Feelings. But here we are, and I appreciate all the support. I'm aiming for a big number this year to end the year out. So please help us out. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much, and happy 2025. Have a good night. Bye.
Later.